Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Brandon Butto here, and today we're working on the FRS. So I already kind of started a little bit, but took one of the mirror caps off here, got it primered up. I think I'm gonna do 1 or 2 more coats of primer, and then I got Roller Rally Blue that I'm gonna try out. Had one of my friends at Napa mix me up a can, so we're gonna test Roller Rally Blue. I'm gonna see if I like that color. Otherwise, we might go with a different color on the car. But the main thing that we're doing today is these headlights here. This one here is broken. It's being held in by a zip tie, and that's it. So we're gonna replace these headlights. They're all fogged up and ugly anyway. So I got some new headlights, some pretty dope ones, and they're actual real headlights. We got these headlights. We're gonna throw those on. So I'm gonna take the bumper off real quick, and then while I'm doing that, we're gonna let the paint dry. I'm gonna actually do 1 more coat of primer first, and then we'll do that. So that's my 3rd layer of primer on that. So when we get back to that, it should be good for paint. I might do a quick 1200 sand down, kind of smooth it out a little bit better. But aside from that, I'm gonna take this bumper off, start working on these headlights. I want to get these done before tomorrow. That way I have turn signals, and yeah, we'll just get started on this. All right, so headlights are off. We got the front bumper and everything off, so headlights are off. Time to open these up. I looked at them once. I looked at one of them. So I'm gonna open this up and show you guys. All right, box is on the floor, and we open this up here, and we got some stuff to tap the wires since it's gonna have lights on it, or turn signals. It's gonna delete the stock turn signals, which I needed for the new bumper. Hint, hint at what's coming next. But we do need to tap into the turn signal wires, which I think will actually be pretty easy. I think I might do a solder replacement instead, because I did order some new harnesses and I don't need them anymore, so I think I'm gonna tap into those instead. But yeah, this is all the instructions, and then underneath we have the headlights. So this is the one that I pulled out and looked at, and man, I think these look just awesome. I don't want to place this on top of a car, but look at those, man. That's the new turn signal there, sequential. It's got a C light just like the new WRXs, but this one goes all the way around. And then a new projector light. Oh my god, it looks so good. And I mean, just looking at the old headlights and how gross they are and how new those are. Just, if you look at these, they actually have on the back. So if you look on the back of these, they actually have a built-in turn signal harness here that you have to tap in yourself, which kind of sucks, but I mean, there's only so much they can do. And then they did clean up the harness so that it just runs the lights through the back. You don't have wires all over the place, which is super nice. But let's go ahead and start installing these. Should be nice and simple. I think I'm just going to time lapse it, and then I'll show you guys how I tap the turn signal harnesses when I get to that. So before I forget, I should probably finish painting this before it starts getting all full of shit, which it's already getting full of stuff. So the first base coat did not come out right at all. It just, right here, it went way over. I mean, on camera it looks really good actually, but in person this is all just really, really heavy and just does not look right at all. I'm hoping it smooths out. Otherwise I might have to wait for it to dry, sand it down, and redo it, because that didn't come out right. And it's just way too much paint coming out and way too fine of an area. Okay, so I decided that I was going to wire up the turn signal harness to the light harness beforehand to try to get everything done and just plug and play. And they provided this pretty great, for what it is, installation manual thing. And what's really funny about it is they took the time to put this in here, but they didn't put it in color, which kind of understandable. It costs a little bit more to make color, but when you're working on wiring, color tends to help, because the way they point it out is you see the connector here, but the only things that they have are a negative turn signal and driving/parking LED strip. And if you look there, all the wires except for the negative look identical. So that doesn't help me really at all when trying to install this harness here, which very clearly has 3 different colors, which is red, green, and black. So that means I got to go out of my way to actually look up what all these colors do, which sucks. But, you know, that's what you get. I'll figure it out, and I'll let you guys know what colors I went to, because for some reason there's 4 wires instead of 3, and I got to figure that out now too. So, great. Update number 2. I decided to go to SPEC-D since it's listed right there at the bottom. So I went to their website and looked to see if there was any like installation guide on here. And the only things that pop up for an FRS, I don't know if this is going to focus, is fog lights, LED third brake light, and tail lights. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it's under B or Z. So we go B or Z, and they only have the third brake light. I'm like, all right, well, maybe it's under Toyota for 86. They don't even have 86 on here. What? So, not only do they not have installation online, but their actual installation guide that comes with it is in black and white. So now I gotta go out of my way to try and find something on the forums on how to do this and wire it up, because I don't feel like testing wires for the next 2 hours trying to figure out which one does what. So this should be fun. All right, so I ran to Walmart and I tried to get some heat shrink and some butane so I could solder with my wireless soldering gun, because I like this one so much more. It's a lot better. But I went to go get butane, went to get heat shrink, and I went to get a loom. And of course, Walmart didn't have any of those. O'Reilly's is closed. I don't think they would have any anyway. The only place I could think of in town that would have it would be Home Depot or a local place. But I need to get this done and have it ready for tomorrow. So I'm just going to loom this up with electrical tape. And then at the solder points, I'm just going to tape it up. And hopefully that's waterproof enough. If we have any issues with it later down the road, I can always rip it all out and redo it, which would suck. But I mean, end of the day, we got to do what we got to do. The first harness done here, as you guys can see, I got the, actually it's kind of hard to see. Let me bring this back a little farther. It's really hard to see actually, but the red there is connected to the white. The black is connected to the two blacks, and then, or the red is connected to the yellow, my bad. The black is connected to the two blacks, and then the green is connected to the white. The white would be the boomerang, like the outside piece, which is right here. I'll show you. The yellow is the turn signal itself, and then the white will be this piece here, according to ft86.com. That's what they're saying. So the way I have it wired up, I didn't follow the way they did it. I did it my own way. So basically black is going to be the ground. You run the two grounds there, which I just connected both of them into the ground wire for the turn signal. And then for the turn signal, I connected the red to the yellow. And then for the daytime running lights, this green wire here, I believe will be the wire that continues power for the turn signal, since the turn signals are on when the car is on. So I assume that the white would go to that just for the boomerang to have it running when daylight or daytime lights are on. I could be wrong, so I'm going to go ahead and test this before I finish it all up. And we'll see how that works, because the other way that FT86 had it hooked up was one of the black wires and one of the white wires goes to the actual daytime running lights on the headlight piece here. So I don't really know if this will work, but we're going to go ahead and try it, because I'd much rather have all this connected to one harness and then all this connected to one harness and have it all quick disconnect, rather than having multiple wires cross between harnesses, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and try this out, and if it works, we'll go ahead and finish this loom, which, by the way, I'm using normal electrical tape, and I ran a loom from the front all the way to the back. Well, not really loom, but just kind of tidying up all the wires so it looks nicer and don't have a mess of wires. So I'm going to go plug this in, see if it works, and if it does, we'll continue with that on both sides. So I went ahead and I connected all these wires to the turn signal wires and plug it in there, and we're gonna go ahead and test it. So the car is off right now, and if I go turn the car on, it should automatically, actually we can just turn on the normal lights, I believe. And if we turn on the lights, as you can see, the ring comes on, which is awesome. That means that green wire is for daytime running lights. So if the wire is on, or if the lights are on, that comes on. And I believe there's a way, if I turn in, or let's turn the lights off, see if that does anything. So we turn the lights off and then hop in here and pop the key in. And then I believe if you drop the e-brake, no, they actually only come on when the lights are on. So the only way it's going to come on is if we,
once you're done.
So the only way that ring light's going to be on is if we actually have the lights turned on. So that kind of sucks, but we can always change the wiring if we wanted to, but I'm fine with that. It works for what we need it for. And then just want to make sure that the turn signals work. So as you guys can see, it is working, but not quite as how I wanted it to. So it looks like that's not connected quite how I want it to for the turn signal, because it doesn't have the sequential. It's actually just flashing all at once. I'm gonna have to look into that and figure out why that's doing that, but it should be a pretty simple fix. All right, so I did a little bit of searching on the internet and found out that these are actually not sequential tail light, or not sequential headlights, which really sucks because that's like the main reason why I bought them. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and hook these up, put them all in. I'm not gonna go through the whole process of putting them all back in, because as you guys can see, it is extremely dark out now, and I just want to get this done. It's starting to get windy. Things are flying everywhere. We're not in the garage, so I just want to get it done, over with, and I'll catch up with you guys when I have it all back in. So sadly we can't put the headlights in, because on the passenger side, this fender for some weird reason is out of place, or just not lining up correctly, and it's making it so the headlight doesn't go in. I don't feel like scratching a headlight or breaking a headlight or something that I just paid a lot of money for, and so we're gonna come back probably tomorrow, figure out what's wrong with this, and then the other side probably would fit in fine, but we're just gonna wrap everything up, make sure it doesn't get all wet, because it might rain tonight, and then it's a little too windy and too dark to work on anything right now. So we're just gonna leave it here, and I'll catch up with it tomorrow. All right, so day 2, getting this headlights done. We have to take this fender off and find out why it's not sitting right, which sucks. I think it's because of right here. If you look right here, there's like a really hard to see, but like right there, there's like a pinch. So I'm assuming the fender is bent, and it looks like it might be bent right here. So I'm gonna take this fender off and try to figure out if I can get the light sitting right, and see if I can fix this fender. Otherwise I might have to order a new one, and if I have to order a new one of these, it's gonna kind of suck, because these are like 230 bucks for each side, or 330 for both, which at that point I might as well just order both and have a spare driver's side, which would suck. But sorry for the wind as well, it's very windy out today. And all right, so we got the fender off. It was pretty easy, just comes right off. The only hard one that I had was that tab right at the end there. Aside from that, it was an easy fender, way easier than the RX-7 ever was. So now that I'm looking at this, this actually does look like it might be tweaked. This piece here, see how it's straight on this side? I think that might be what's tweaked. If we just push that back up like that, that might solve the issue right there. I don't know. I'm gonna keep looking at it, and I'll let you guys know what I do to fix it. I'm thinking it might be this piece actually, now that I'm looking at it more. So looking at this, this is the radiator core support. It starts here and goes all the way back to the other side, right? Well, this is actually tweaked right here. The headlight mounting point for it is actually pushed up and back. If you come over to this side, you can see how it's like nice and smooth this way, and then over here it kind of arches upwards. You can see that kind of arch there is a lot straighter, and this side is more like curved up. It's kind of hard to see, but if you look at the tape measure, this one actually around 8 1/4, and then about 8. So it's about a 1/4 inch up and a few inches, or like maybe a 1/4 of an inch back as well. I can't measure how far back. I guess I can measure from here maybe and see. That's probably about 7 and a little over 1/2. And then this side is about 9 and 9 1/2. So as you guys can see, it's pretty far in back this way and a little bit higher up. So I could technically just pull all this out, which I think I'm going to try and do anyway. But this entire core support here is 150 bucks from Toyota. So I might just go ahead and order a new one up and replace it all together, since that will be a lot easier. And I think the fender's all right. This just had to get straightened out, and it should work for what we need to do it, or for what we need. And I think once we replace this piece here, it'll actually so the front core support is out now. Sorry, I might have been covering the mic there, but front core support's out now, and we got all this opened up. There is so much room to work with now, it's actually insane. But pretty much I went ahead and drilled 3 holes on each one, and this middle hole was actually there on both sides. So we got 3 holes on this side and 3 holes on the other side. This side might actually be a little bit bent out of place right here, and I hope that isn't going to cause any issues, because if this has to get bent at all, it might lead to some future issues with fitment on the new core support. But for the most part, I think this car is going to be, I think for the most part, it's all straight and everything, and should be able to just bolt right up. I'm hoping that's the case anyway. And if it's not the case, then we're gonna have to do a little bit extra work, but it should all fit in pretty easily and pretty nicely. So pretty much we just gotta wait until the new one gets here. I'm gonna try and figure out if I can clean up any of this and try to get it like with less things in there. Maybe remove some of the harness parts that aren't needed anymore, or just really anything that doesn't need to belong in the front, because if I ever want to take this off again, you know, it's a drift car, something might end up happening. If it ever has to come back out, I don't want it to be as long of a process